Hello everybody and welcome back to Analog Vernacular. Today we're going to be playing some more Fire Emblem Three Hopes. And yeah, I have had a great response with this series so far. It really warms my heart, it really does. We are getting dangerously close to 5,000 subs. As of right now, I'm at 4,940. So thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, like I said, the response for this series has been really good so far. And we're only in the demo. So thank you all for that as well. So it looks like we're going to be going into Chapter 4. I don't know what to expect. I kind of suspect that it's going to continue this fast pace. To war.
Azure Gleam.
Okay.
To war.
So that was the name of the chapter right before we went into the time skip. So we're getting to the time skip really quick.
1181. 2 years have passed since the Officers' Academy closed its doors.
Okay.
After ascending the throne, Dimitri labors to bring peace to the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. With Edelgard ruling as the Emperor of Adrestia and Claude leading the Leicester Alliance, the three erstwhile schoolmates strike out as the next generation of leaders. A new era is dawning in Fodlan, and much teeters at the brink of great change. The first tremors of a major upheaval rock the land as Edelgard declares war on the Central Church.
And there it is. Okay. So it happens later in this one. So 2 years have passed then. So it's kind of like we're halfway through where the normal time skip would have been. So here's our time skip. We already got it. Look at these guys.
Pardon my lateness, Your Majesty.
This is cool. This is fun.
You needn't worry, Felix. I know your duties are many. Though, I'm afraid we could not wait for you to begin the discussion.
This is about the Empire's declaration of war against the Central Church, yes?
Indeed. As you're aware, we have already begun accepting refugees from Garreg Mach. But a few days ago, I received a confidential request from Seteth, asking us to protect the higher-ranking members of the Church, including Lady Rhea herself. Of course, we'd only meet this eventuality were Garreg Mach to fall.
And fall
As it
it
stands,
will.
We find ourselves quite literally stuck between the Empire and the Church. I'm not sure how much longer we can remain neutral.
I'm almost certain that Garreg Mach is going to fall on this playthrough.
If I might, Your Majesty, troubling as it may be, I believe it prudent for us to reject this proposal from the Church outright. Offering them shelter will only serve to provoke an invasion from the Empire.
So right now we have Viscount Elidor, and we know that in every single country there are agents of those who slither in the dark. I don't think that this house was ever mentioned specifically, but I wonder if maybe, yeah, I need to like go and review footage to see if we ever got names of houses that were involved with the churches. You know, the people in the church who were basically part of those who slither. That was all kind of surrounding the stuff that had to do with Lonato and whatnot. Can't remember what houses were named there.
The Southern Church concerns me as well, but I believe we have more important matters to be fussing over at the moment.
Your counsel is much appreciated, Viscount Elidor, but I assure you, things are not as cut and dry as you make them out to be. The mandate granted to the King of Fargus and all the lords who serve under him is given legitimacy only by the grace of the Church. Are we to renounce the very heart of this kingdom simply because we shudder at the thought of invasion?
To be fair, like...
War will always come at one point or another, and some degree of suffering is purely inevitable. You know this as well as I, Viscount.
I mean, to be fair, the kingdoms existed before the church, and then this kingdom was given, you know, their kingdom back by the church in a way, based on the history. Or at least, you know, given legitimacy, let's say, through the church. But, you know, any of these three kingdoms could find their own independence for sure, and they would probably be fine. Like, this is a powerful enough kingdom that they could if they really wanted to.
You dare speak of suffering, do you? When the blaze of war will not scorch your lands in the north as it does ours?
I would normally agree that those of us from the Northern Territory should hold less sway in this discussion. But if Garrick Mach were to fall, the war fronts would not halt in the west. Your Majesty, what of House Rowe or Galatea, or the others in the south?
Not a word from Count Rowe as it stands, but I did receive a missive from Count Galatea. It read, "My people are not fools enough to rejoice in the surrender of their territories to invaders. There is no morality in turning our backs on the institution at the very foundation of our lives. We must support the Church as they have supported us."
Your Majesty, we owe a great debt to the Central Church for their role in quelling the uprising 2 years ago. To not repay such generosity in kind would risk weakening the trust of your vassals.
And if that happens, we might find ourselves right back in the same mess as before. They lack the crest of Blaethid, but there's no small number of nobles who might crawl out of the woodwork claiming royal blood. The kingdom's already seen the turmoil and division such claimants can bring after the death of King Klaus.
But Duke Fraldarius, surely we are better served attempting to head off the very real and imminent war at hand, instead of debating hypothetical unrest.
I don't want my people to suffer the pain of conflict. But does anyone here really think the Empire will simply stop if we appease their every demand?
Now, interestingly enough, in this game, like, we don't have as much of a connection with other students and stuff. Like, we didn't go through that really lengthy sort of, like, school phase. So, like, the dynamics here are very, very different, which is kind of interesting. You know, whereas, like, all of these people were kind of friends, the weight of that isn't nearly as strong here, just because they don't know each other at this point, you know? Like, the three house leaders didn't have that time to really get to know each other in that same way, so, like, the betrayal of this doesn't have the same weight, I suppose.
Suppose we do let the Empire take the Archbishop. And suppose we accept this new Southern Church. Then what?
I imagine the Empire plans to install the Bishop of the Southern Church, Count Varley, in Lady Rhea's place.
Interesting. I always kind of thought that Edelgard's plan was to basically cut ties with the church altogether, but I mean, on a strategic point, like, it would make sense for, instead of completely obliterating the church, installing your own sort of puppet in it is definitely the safer option, especially when you probably have people in your country who believe in the church. Like, I've always been somebody who has been very non-religious, right? But, like, looking at it sort of like coming from a family that was very, like, my family is extremely religious. I'm kind of the black sheep in that, where I kind of, like, left my religion as I got older. Most of my family is very religious. So it's like, if I were in Edelgard's position, I wouldn't necessarily want to completely obliterate the church, but basically kind of like cutting off its power seems to be her goal here, right? So I guess that makes sense. I just kind of like thought that she would want to get rid of the church altogether because she sees it as such a bad thing. Huh.
I fear I've heard nothing good concerning either the man himself or his teachings. They purport to be an arm of the Church of Seros, but the Southern Church is nothing more than a mouthpiece for the Empire at large.
In other words, rejecting the Central Church in favor of this new Southern one would be no different from flat-out accepting imperial rule. It's hard to say just how they would treat our kingdom were such events to unfold. Though I imagine it would involve heavy taxation for the express purpose of bleeding Fargus dry and filling the imperial coffers.
Do you have something to add, Duke Fraldarius?
Not really, no. I was just wondering how long we were planning to continue this tedious charade.
He's like, I want to kill
The
people.
question's simple. Do we hand over our kingdom and subject ourselves to imperial rule or not?
And the answer to that is obviously no. And I think that comes to the heart of where I stand when it comes to, like, the original game too, is like, I don't necessarily have a problem with Edelgard wanting to cut ties with the church. I think that where I have the biggest issue, and I think that a lot of people misunderstand where I come from when I don't like Edie's route in the original game, and it largely comes down to sort of sloppy writing, some sort of not well-defined... basically, she comes off as... like, I don't understand her character, just because the writing isn't super clear in places where it needs to be. And so it's largely writing, but also the fact that she wants to put all three kingdoms at war is kind of where the issues arise for me. I think that if she wanted to basically make her country independent, I would have not nearly as many issues, right? She could break herself off from the church and go against the church, and obviously that could lead to wars with the other two anyway, but the fact that she, she basically takes the offensive. And honestly, I think that I'd probably be a lot more forgiving if she was more defensive in it, if she was just like, okay, I'm going to break off from the church. I don't want my country involved with the church because I don't like what you're doing here. I don't like the crest system. I don't like the hierarchy, etc. That all makes sense to me. Like, that's okay. And then, if given that, if then the church instigated Fargus and, the Leicester Alliance into going to war with the Empire, then all of a sudden, the Adrestian Empire is like on the moral high ground, right? It's all about, those dynamics. And I feel like in storytelling, you need to make sure that those dynamics are clear. And if you want somebody to be sympathetic, you need to be mindful of that. And I think that's where they kind of tripped up a little bit. They could have done that. Like, they could have made her the enemy in Blue Lions like they did. And what they did was fine, right? I really, the Blue Lions story was awesome in regards to Dimitri and Edelgard's dynamics. But then when we get to the Black Eagles route, if they would have done what I just said, where she basically said, hey, we're breaking off. We are going to be independent of the church and independent of, whatever you're doing, Rhea. And then if Rhea then instigated war, that'd be a completely different moral high ground. So, yeah, it's complicated, right? And I think that's where I come with my issues with the Black Eagles route. Also, it was a shortened route. It was written very quickly, it seems like. So those were the issues that I had. And I think that people tend to take my words out of context and think that, that there are other, stupider reasons for me to dislike Edelgard's route and dislike Edelgard. But what it really comes down to is just that I don't feel like the writing was up to snuff. I don't think that they convinced me to side with her. And they could have done that somewhat easily, honestly. So that's where it comes down. It's not like, hey, I love the church. I'm somebody who's never been I haven't been religious since I graduated from high school. And even before then, that's just when I actively left the church, because that's when I was able to move away from my very religious family. So yeah, it's interesting. I've been talking a lot, and I'm sure that you guys don't even care. Let's keep going.
I believe the Margrave has been quite clear as to what will happen if we give in to the Empire's demands. We've all been informed of the rapid reformation their region has undergone, many aspects of which I admire, I'm not ashamed to say. But an old, stubborn land like ours isn't suited for such tempestuous change. Radical new freedoms are not what the people of Fargus need right now. They need stability, steady improvement in their daily lives, and real, lasting change can only come from a solid foundation.
And see here, I don't know if I'm completely in agreement with Dimitri
Your Majesty
there.
has made up his mind then. Just say the word and we'll leap into action.
I mean, I've always been one that's okay with kind of uprooting the status quo a little bit, But yeah, there's a lot more to this, but I don't on a blanket statement agree with what Dimitri just said.
The Holy Kingdom of Fargus will hereby offer asylum to the Church of Seros. Everyone, sharpen your blades and prepare for the battles ahead. Gustav, Dedu, make to ride at once. Our intentions must be made clear. Not only to the Church and the Empire, but to Count Rowe as well, and all the other lords who failed to answer my summons.
Understood, Your Majesty.
And knowing what we know about the church and stuff, like...
Did you hear? It sounds like we're gonna be going to war with the Empire.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Ever since His Majesty ascended the throne, we've been fighting battle after battle through every corner of Fargus. But I never thought we'd be going toe-to-toe with the actual Empire. I'd be nervous if it even felt real.
Let's motivate her.
Don't worry. It'll start feeling very real very quick once the sword starts swinging.
You know,
That was
might be
motivational?
the single worst attempt at motivational speaking I've ever heard. Not that I'm much surprised at
I was
this
thinking the
point.
same thing. I was like, that was supposed to be motivational? Oh god. Girl.
I can't help but wonder, though. What happens to Fargus now? I feel like things have been steadily improving lately, but not everyone favors His Majesty as I do.
Yeah, I hear the grumbles too. But there's not a ruler in the world who doesn't have their fair share of critics, right? All I know is, we wouldn't be where we are now if not for him. I mean, look at me. Saddled with some mysterious power we don't know anything about, and he still chose to put his faith in me. It's only right I return the favor in kind. Oh, and speak of the devil.
Am I interrupting something?
No, of course not. Please, allow me to take my leave. Your Majesty, Commander.
So, you heard all that, huh?
More or less. I apologize for the interruption, but there's an urgent matter at hand.
Anything I can do to help?
There is. As you know, we've offered asylum to the Central Church in their efforts to flee the Empire. As such, we are to escort the Archbishop herself to the royal capital at once.
Oh damn, they're gonna straight up
I
leave
expect heavy
Garrett
pursuit from the Imperial forces.
Interesting.
So I am assembling a team of those I trust most to assist in the mission. Of course, I'll be leading my own regiment into battle. But I was wondering if you'd be willing to accompany me.
What, is that it? I'd be glad to. How are things looking at Garrett Mach while we're on the subject?
Grim. Neither the Knights of Seros nor the monastery ramparts are capable of holding off the Empire's massive military might. I dare say we have precious little time to waste. Prepare to deploy at once.
Yeah, it's so interesting to kind of like approach this on in such a different way, like knowing where our characters are at, what they do, what they don't know, the fact that they're not as close to each other in this one is very interesting. Central Galatia territory, the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. We know even less about the church's characters as well. Your tent is rather nice, isn't it? I suppose it pays to be a commander. You said it. Things are totally different here compared to all the small-time outfits I used to run with. Now I've got my own space where I can kick back and keep all my stuff in order. This probably means they expect a lot from you, more than your title implies, I would imagine. In your personal quarters located in the upper left of the base camp minimap, press A near the desk to change appearance and view documents. Cool.
That reminds me.
We get our cool outfit back. Yeesh, this camp is something else. Did you see how many merchants we've got?
How tiresome.
Are you finished sightseeing yet? I believe I heard your employer calling for you. Oh, this is a good time to remind people, because I think people have been kind of approaching this in the comments section. Don't spoil things from other routes. Nobody really has done that. People have kind of gotten a little bit close, but obviously, like, we've only got the 4 chapters of each route, so it doesn't really... There's not that much that can be spoiled, but this is just a good reminder for you to be mindful that if I haven't played it, don't really discuss other routes in the comment section of this playthrough, because we're eventually going to play them all. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Base camp is where you'll prepare for battle. You can interact with your allies and make use of all kinds of facilities. I wonder if we've gotten any supports. Ooh, Rodriguez now playable. Cool, I was wondering. I'm wondering if we're going to get Monica or not, or if she returns to the Black Eagles. So Rodriguez comes in at level 6, Cavalier. Very cool. Annette has rejoined us. And I had somebody comment about, they were wondering why Annette left for the last fight. If you played the original game, Annette is Gilbert's daughter, and they don't have a very good relationship. I think that she left that fight for those story reasons, for those character reasons. She didn't want to be close to Gilbert because, yeah, just character reasons. She thinks that he kind of abandoned the family, which he kind of did. He's kind of a bad dad in a lot of ways, as we know from that base game. Okay, let's see. We probably have the option of going, back to the school uniform. You can change your unit's appearance by selecting the change appearance option in your personal quarters. Changing their camp appearance will alter how they appear in camp, while changing their battle appearance will alter how they appear in combat. Here, you can change your unit's appearance in camp. Changes may not apply in some events. Here, you can choose how units look in battle. Standard issue, deploy using class-based attire. Some unit-exclusive classes feature personalized attire. Cool. Okay, class-based and unique. Alright, that all makes sense. Alright. Yeah, dude, I love this design. Her war design is freaking awesome. Okay, so that's all camp appearance. And battle, standard issue, display standard issue attire, display unique attire on battle, does not apply to some classes or class-based. Probably do standard issue. But we will have to keep an eye on what their class-specific looks look like, because that could be fun. But yeah, we've got everybody's updated designs now. Gosh, Dedu, you're such a badass. We'll go through each of them so that you can see them. Oh, I love it, dude. I love her updated design so much. This one is definitely one of my favorites. Now, Annie, she's adorable, don't get me wrong, but she ended up in one of my least favorite updated designs just because, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I don't like hats on characters most of the time, which is funny because I'm a person who wears a hat literally all the time in my life, but, like, I don't like her bandana. I didn't like Mercedes' post-time skip hat, so, like, letting her have her hair down like this is so good. But yeah, Annie, love you, girl. I wish you weren't wearing that bandana. Ingrid. And we got Rodrigue. Yeah, man, I was kind of hoping Monica would join us. And we get to play with her a little bit. Documents, huh? Oh, that's that letter we found. Gotcha. Okay. Spend renown. Okay, this comes back. We have 0 renown points. I wonder how we're going to be getting those in this game. Okay, looks like we can spend renown to get permanent stat up items. War is such a human enterprise. In that sense, we are very much the same as those on the other side. But we cannot coexist, so we are determined to kill each other. I suppose that's the nature of this beast. Yeah, that's the tragedy of these storylines, for sure. Had things been just a little bit different, we may not have to, attack each other, kill each other, etc. Now, even though our characters don't have as much of a relationship in this game, it's still gonna hurt knowing what we know about all of these characters when we, inevitably run into characters that we love in other routes.
Indeed.
And have to hurt them.
At your service.
I will accompany you in the coming battle. I have far more freedom now that I've stepped down from my post as Duke Fraldarius. I'd planned to leave our territory entirely to my son, but I hear he's commanding a unit in this war as well. So my wife and younger brother are temporarily in charge of Fraldarius. Though of course I've told Felix he'll have to return from time to check on things. So I'm guessing we'll eventually make our way to Garreg Mach, and I wonder if at that point we'll get to meet up with the DLC characters from the original game.
Seriously? Not good.
So, we're meeting up at the Valley of Torment, huh? Ugh, must we? Come on, Sylvain, complaining about it won't do us any good. I'm gonna guess you've never been to Eilel. And that's the only way you could say that with a straight face. Is Eilel the fireplace? I think it might be. I think it is.
Let's see.
We'll ask about it. You know, I don't think I've ever been there either. What's it like?
So the story is...
For one thing, you can't take a step without running into lava or scorching hot steam vents. Yes, okay. It is. The whole valley is as hot as the sun. You'd probably faint from merely standing around.
Oh no.
But there's nowhere else we can meet them. We'll just have to brace ourselves. Okay, so this fight's happening at Ailel, it sounds like. Toggle dash with B. We'll have to see if there are, you know, items that can be picked up and stuff. Also, man, where is Shamir? Where is, Catherine, you know? Like, I wonder if we're going to be picking up these characters along the way as well.
What is it?
Hey, Commander, are we really doing this? If we take in the church, we'll have an honest-to-goodness war on our hands. If you want to leave, now's your chance. I won't stop you, and neither will Dimitri. Oh, come on, don't be like that. We fought together for 2 years now. I never abandoned you or the kingdom. Alright, good to know that our people like us. Apparently we've been a good commander to them.
How can I serve?
I have served the church for quite some time, and it is unfathomable that anyone should think it corrupt. Both Lady Rhea and Sedith severely punish any who take bribes or commit a crime. But I suppose if someone has already declared their judgment corrupt, then there is nothing I can say to change that. Though I suppose the same thing applies to the Empire if you think about it. I think that if you removed those who slither in the dark from the storyline, and you did the thing where Edie basically tried to break away from the church and then Rhea instigated war against them, I think those two things alone would make me on Edelgard's side like 100%. But as it stands, that's hard for me to do still, unfortunately. And I don't mind if anybody like is on Edie's side. Totally get it. We don't have to fight about it.
Hello there.
But yeah, that's just where I stand. I never imagined we'd all meet again under these circumstances. When I heard that we were aiding the church and there was going to be war, I couldn't stand idly by. Annie and I rushed to the castle and met up with Ash. We had an audience with Dimitri and begged him to let us fight as well. I've studied hard over these past 2 years, you know. I'm certain I'll be able to help. Yeah, I love her new design, so it's really good. The Royal Territories of Fargus, Book 1. A directory of information on each region within the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. As it contains no confidential information, it can be viewed and checked out freely. 1180 edition. Cape Blathid, the king's home domain. The region is largely composed of windswept plains that become a vast Cool. I don't really care about the... I care more about the history of the people of each of these regions, more so than whether it's snowfields in winter. Okay, Blathid. 800-year-old Camulus Cathedral. Raldarius. Grain is produced. Cool. Ephon. A former Viscounty, now under the direct control of the royal family, former Clyman territory. Karen. That's our girl Catherine. County known for its crafts and glasswork. A marquisate? Is that how you would say that? A marquisate? Okay, Duval. Lake Toitates, one of the... Is that where we met the turtle guy? I think it might be. Okay, we've got Prittery, Belinus, Brenius. Cool, okay. If you investigate certain locations in camp, you can acquire all sorts of documents. Check these obtained documents from your personal quarters in the upper left of the camp minimap. Yeah, we already found that, didn't we? An award is available. What does that mean? Is that in here? Is that in like a... You gotta tell me what that means, bro. Cool, they have built-in achievements. That's fun. Maybe in bonuses? No. Let's check out supports while we're here. Did we get any closer? We are close to some of these. Ash and Dedu are pretty close. They don't seem to have gone up quite as much. I think that it probably goes up a lot faster if you use adjutants. So we need to make sure that we always use adjutants to work on these. Yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing any exclamations on the map either, so I don't know what to do about this award available thing. Maybe it's in my room. Dark Mage over here.
Hey!
I used to do business at Garreg Mach until I suddenly heard that a war was starting, and so I fled here to the kingdom along with the others from the town monastery. As I understand it, Blaiddyd, Fraldarius, and Cairn territories are all taking in refugees. I'm traveling around to earn a living, but my wife and kid are staying in a poor town in Fraldarius. Okay, a letter from an Abyss resident. Moved to Burrow Street recently. I've gotten to know the Ashen Wolves class. Apparently they're ex-academy students who have banded together to form their own house underground. Okay, so are they here as well then? Balthus, Constance, Yuri, and Happy. Oh my gosh, have you seen Happy's new design? It's fantastic. I'm sure we'll be meeting up with them eventually, but from the trailer, her design was killing it. Strange bunch, but they seem alright, especially Balthus's money. What? What does that mean? Isn't Balthus always the one who was poor? I wonder if it's going to be different in this one, where he's like maybe actually doing well. A letter written with messy handwriting on stained paper.
You should hear this.
There's a town beneath Garreg Mach that's home to some outcasts. It's called Abyss. One of my friends lived down there until just recently. They sent me some very eye-opening letters from that place. Okay, so they're still there, it sounds like. Oh look, Dusker soldiers. That's right. I've seen you in the King's conference room before. I serve the leaders of Dusker. I've been sent to aid your expedition.
I'm counting on you.
Many of my subordinates don't speak Fodlan's language, so there may be some issues, but I hope we can all work together. Okay, so it seems like relations with Dusker are in a pretty good place after this 2-year skip. Which is cool.
May I speak with you?
I will return to the capital after seeing you all off. Alright, I have to get used to seeing his name as Gustav instead of Gilbert. We must ensure Verdiad is well defended in His Majesty's absence.
I have a request.
Please, I ask that you keep His Majesty safe, and my daughter, Annette, as well. I always want to call Annette Annie as well. Okay, nothing over here.
May I have a word?
Everyone thinks my marriage was purely political. They say His Majesty arranged it to weaken the influence of the Western territories. I can see that His Majesty is taking a harsh stance toward the Western lords, including my father, Viscount Mateus. So I can't deny there were political implications when I married into House Gautier. But my wife and I married because we wanted to. I want to make sure everyone knows that. Okay. So, married into House Gautier. Did we ever know that Sylvain had sisters? Is that what that's trying to tell us? Is that Sylvain has sisters? Since the Empire declared war, Fraldarius has been taking in refugees from Garreg Mach as well. Though, as you know, the kingdom barely has enough resources to support its own citizens. It's no simple matter to secure goods and land for extra people. There's been some civil unrest, which has led to a rise in bandit attacks. Practical countermeasures.
Let's see.
Well, in the long run, we can't just focus on subduing the bandits. Maybe if we find a way to give work to the refugees. Though the fastest solution would be to take back Garreg Mach so they can all go home. That would be the best option if we could pull it off, but I doubt the Empire will just give in. Having a rough day, aren't you, buddy? How's it going, Annie?
Heya.
Hey, it's been a while. Or maybe it hasn't. We did bump into each other in Ferdiad on occasion. So, we're going to be at war soon, huh? It's honestly hasn't quite hit me yet. I feel the same. Me neither. It's hard to take in when you're faced with battle this size. But we fought plenty of smaller battles these past 2 years, so you'll get used to it before long. Just the answer I'd expect from you, Shez. I guess I could learn a thing or two from you.
By the by.
It looks like Emperor Edelgard has spent these past 2 years steadily preparing for war. She removed the regent, Lord Arundel, then she dismissed Prime Minister Ayer and established the Southern Church. Interesting. Ooh, that is interesting. She removed the regent, Lord Arundel, who is like those who slid in the Dark's leader, practically, pretty much. Huh. That does make me very intrigued to see where things are going in her route. She might have even been plotting this while she was at the Officers' Academy. The Duke Ayer thing, I think that happened in her route anyway, right? Let's just go in here to make sure that there's nothing to read. So far, there doesn't seem to be items to collect during exploration phases. Ooh, I wonder if they're going to give us, like, character training here eventually. The Kingdom Army has taken on members of the Knights of Seiros and refugee volunteers. I'm glad to have them, of course, but there's no way to vet all of their backgrounds.
Don't screw it up,
We need to keep a sharp eye out. If you notice anyone suspicious, make sure you take action. I was initially thinking that that black mage in the back looked a little suspicious. He could be from those who slither. Okay, now we need to go into the center here.
How can I serve?
Dude, where's Gatekeeper? Where the hell is Gatekeeper? Omega Force, where is Gatekeeper? You bastards, where is he? I was hoping this was him. Verniad is without a doubt the largest city in Blythed territory. However, Camulus in the west is also a town of fair size and boasts a historic cathedral at its center to boot. I heard that most of the clergy who made it to the kingdom are planning to settle there. I mean, there better be a point in this game, like, we're gonna be halfway through the game and we're gonna be, like, close to being obliterated by, you know, like, Edelgard's forces or something, and then, over the mountain comes Gatekeeper. All alone, nobody else with him, but he just comes over the you know, the ridge, comes down, and just, like, strikes down somebody. And, he's going to save us from, defeat. It's gonna happen, you just wait for it. You just wait. It's happening.
Why, hello.
I can't believe it's been 2 years. I've heard a lot of what you've been doing. It sounds like you've presided over a great number of battles. We'll be counting on you for this next one, too. Give a humble response.
Nuh-uh.
I don't think I've done anything all that impressive. I hope you're not expecting too much from me.
Well,
too humble, actually. It's not like you to be so humble. But in any case, let's just both do our best. We can't afford to lose. Okay, strategist. I'm guessing that means that we can go into fights. Oh, reward master. Well, here we go. Here's where we keep track of all of the achievements you complete. We've got rewards ready to give out based on how many achievements you rack up, so get out there and start doing stuff.
Well, how'd it go?
Speak with the reward master to check your achievements and accept rewards. The reward master can be found in the command center in the middle of camp. I do think that sometimes when people are like creating tutorial messages like this, they go a little overboard. Literally, we can infer things just from what that girl just told us. You don't have to lay it out for us in this way. Especially when it's really straightforward. Achievements can be won both in and out of battle. The more achievements you complete, the higher quality your rewards will become, so aim high. You can also check your achievements from the pause menu while in camp, or on the war map, or during battles. Okay. And a fruit of life. Cool. 75 Agarthian. Oh, I see. Okay. So I thought these numbers were tied to a specific achievement, but no, these are the number of total achievements. So in other words, you just go down the list, right? Once we've completed 20 different achievements, we'll get an intermediate seal. Gotcha. Okay, so there's a lot of achievements, apparently. My god. We still haven't gotten battalions yet. Oh, dude, Chalice of Beginnings. That was a DLC item. Yeah, that was a good one.
Any
Cool.
results
That's
are
really
good
cool.
results.
That's fun.
Well?
Fargus has changed over these 2 years, both in the army structure and within the hierarchy of lords. And with the ruler of Duscar Peninsula, Viscount Kleiman dealt with... my people have begun moving back to their homes. That's really cool. Will you return to Duscar?
What do you think?
Duscar's your home too, right? Are you gonna go back?
No.
No, my place is with His Majesty, from now on, until the end of time. Dude's such a boss. Kingdom Nobles, a register of prominent nobles, noble houses of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. This document is expressly for official use by the Church of Seros. Students are forbidden to remove or peruse this documentation. House Blaethid. This house claims Blaethid of the Ten Elites as its ancestor. It has ruled the kingdom for over 400 years, ever since Lugh, the King of Lions, claimed victory in the War of the Eagle and Lion in 751. This secured the kingdom's independence from the Adrestian Empire, after which Lugh was crowned as its inaugural king of the Church of Seros. House Blaethid continued. House Blaethid resides in Ferdiad, the kingdom capital, claiming all of the surrounding territory as its domain and many of the fiefdoms in the north of Fodlan as its vassals. With the passing of King Lambert in 1176, his older brother, Grand Duke Rufus of Etha, assumed the burden of ruling the kingdom in the young crown prince's stead. Even still, strife and disorder continued to plague the land. The House of Dukes claims Fraldarius the Ten Elites as its ancestor. It is one of the most ancient houses on record, even amongst kingdom nobility. It is said that Kython, the sworn friend of Lugh, the King of Lions, was also related to the hero Fraldarius. Ooh, did we ever hear that before? That Kython was related to the Fraldarius line? Huh. And Kython was kind of like his mysterious sort of strategist, right? We don't know too much about Kython. I feel like we know a lot more about Lugh than we do about Kython. Okay, House Gautier. This House of Margraves claims Gautier of the Ten Elites as its ancestor. Its territory lies in the northernmost reaches of the kingdom. As such, it has safeguarded the kingdom territory against incursions by the people of the Serang region for over 200 years. This House of Counts claims Karen of the Ten Elites as its ancestor. Tasked with negotiating between the resistance armies and the Church of Seros during the War of the Eagle and Lion, the head of House Karen continues the tradition of a ceremonial competition within the kingdom. When House Daphnel, we're on to, House Galatea. When House Daphnel, once a cornerstone of the Leicester Alliance, was divided in two over an inheritance feud, half of them defected to Fargus and established House Galatea, which was granted the noble title of Count. Much of its territory consists of a fragile wasteland, where a severe famine occurred in the early 1170s. House Rowe, a noble house that once held territory in the northernmost kingdom when the fortress city of Arianrod was constructed within its domain. It revolted against the Empire and pledged the entirety of its territory, including Arianrod, to the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. For this contribution, it was awarded the noble title of Count. House Kleiman. This house originally held no more than a lordship over a single castle in the west of the kingdom, but it was awarded the noble title of Viscount for its great success in the subjugation of the Duscar region in 1176. Afterwards, it was granted the Duscar region as its feudal estate. Okay.
Over here. I've been waiting for you.
I was waiting for you, Shez. Allow me to explain our plan of action. Please do.
How about this?
Let us first look at this map. We are preparing to march from our camp, which is located here. Once we are ready, we will advance to Ilel, the Valley of Torment, and rendezvous with Lady Rhea. However, we have received reports of bandits disturbing the peace in that area.
There you have it.
We will need to strike them down and restore order for us to proceed safely. Okay, so Rhea has already left Garreg Mach. You must not let your guard down no matter who we face. Do make sure you are fully prepared for what lies ahead. For instance, have you had a chance to use the training grounds or browse the marketplace yet?
I implore you.
There are facilities where you can improve your weapons and prepare for battle. Be sure to make use of them. Okay, cool. Now, can I go to the strategist and maybe do optional fights? Sorry, we're still figuring out our strategy. You should go and make sure you're fully prepared. Alright, fair enough. And look, up at the top we have... oh, well, we'll look at that in a second. In camp, press R to open the menu and select a destination. Select a facility, unit, or location to instantly travel there. Cool. So up at the top now we have 3 events that we can do. So very much like the original game. So eventually we'll be making choices about what we're going to be trying to accomplish. Training Instructor. Here you can train your mind and body and gain proficiency in new classes. It never hurts to be prepared. I'm sure I'll be seeing you often. Use the training grounds to improve your units. Make use of the following options. Train, increase class level, cool, or level up / reset. Raise or resets a unit's level. Reset, huh? Interesting, okay. Okay, so train is for class level, and level up and reset is for individual levels. Gotcha. Character levels. Acquire class, attain certification for a new class, mock battle, try out a unit or class. I think we're ready to try to acquire some classes.
Between victory and defeat.
Acquiring new classes at the training grounds if you want to change to a different or more advanced class. If you want to learn a new class, master the corresponding subordinate class, acquire the seal corresponding to the class category. Learning an advanced class. Increases stat growth rate, increases weapon level, and authority level. We like that stat growth rate, that's cool. And automatically increases weapon level and authority level too. Okay, so authority's coming back. Cool. Once you've learned a class, you may change to it at any time by selecting Change Class on the Convoy menu. Okay, Dimitri. So you're currently a soldier, and you have the option of going to High Lord already. So we actually probably want to go to High Lord first? Maybe? With an air of authority, yeah, because he's going to grow in High Lord much faster, and then we can look at other options after that as well. Like, I wouldn't mind having him being able to go down a Cavalier path as well, but yeah, High Lord is definitely his preferred class. Let's go there first. And, alright, so with an air of authority and true mastery of the lance, this figure rules over both generals and lords. We have 7 intermediate skills already, so... okay, so it's automatically unlocked. Interesting. Okay, we only have 2 people that have things unlocked, so we may as well use one of our 7 for Cavalier, just so that we have the option. Yeah, I'm gonna like this game.
I wonder if this will suit me.
The translation of the original game to this one has been done pretty well so far. Now, we're actually going to send him into his Lord class, which I think he's actually technically... yeah, they just moved him into High Lord after the time skip, it looks like. So we'll let him do that first. Okay. Yeah, we're going to make him an Armored Knight.
I will devote myself to this new path.
Very cool. All right. Training. Training allows you to gain class experience for the units in the training slots. Units assigned to the same training slot will train as a pair and gain support points. Since the pair will learn from each other, if one unit's weapon level is higher, the other unit will earn an experience bonus based on that difference. Oh, interesting. Okay. The greater the difference, the higher the bonus. Training will consume training points. Training points will be refilled to the maximum amount at the start of a new chapter. Okay. cool. And there's multiple slots, it looks like. Interesting. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sword to sword. Partner bonus 10. Cool. I'll get support points. Let's do Mercy and Annette. And Dimitri and Sylvain. Oh, cool. You get to pick the class as well, interestingly enough.
I have to train with His Majesty today? Can't I just pretend I did and take a nap instead?
Rude.
Come now, I won't hurt you. Much.
Dude's a beast.
Let us keep bettering ourselves.
Mastered. Look at that. Okay, cool.
Hey, a new power.
Dual wielder's ploy.
All right.
I could use this.
Sword prowess and grounder.
Yes.
Faith.
I'll be able to help even more now.
Learn the ability trust.
I think I'm getting the hang of
Night
this.
Kneeler. Okay, so we could do another one and spend more on this if we wanted to, but I'm not going to. We need to check out other things first and make sure that we have points to do things. Maybe those points are only for training, and if that's the case, then we don't have to worry about that too much, but... yep, mercenary.
I can make this work.
Alright, and Sylvain's going to Cavalier.
Different road, same destination.
Very cool. Oh, there we go. We have mock battles, which allows us to test out a unit's moveset. Alright, we might have to look at that at some point.
You'll be unstoppable.
Alright, let's go and do these other things first. Find out what all requires these points that are up here. Actually, I think it's all training, so we actually have 2 more training sessions that we can just use. Take a gander at all our wondrous weapons.
Welcome.
Okay. Does it say how many we have in our inventory already? Anywhere. Okay, it's all iron stuff. I don't think we need any of this stuff. Maybe a pair of iron gauntlets to use on somebody, possibly?
That all for today?
We don't have any bullions, do we? No. I wonder if bullions are automatically converted to gold. Yeah, they must be, because we got them in some of our previous battles. I've got plenty of goods that will surely come in handy. I look forward to doing business with you. At the item shop, you can buy and sell various items, including food ingredients and gifts. Items in the shop have a limited stock and can sell out. However, the shop will restock at the end of a new chapter.
I carry a little of everything here.
Okay. Alright, so gifts are coming back. Okay. Let's
got an eye for quality, friend.
Try buying a floral
got an eye for quality,
adornment.
friend.
And let's see if we can give this to somebody. We've got the bare necessities at least. Time to get to work. Let's see. Where is the church? Wasn't this one? No, it was up here, right? Maybe? Is that it? I think that's it. Can I give you a gift? No. Okay, that'll probably come later. That's fine. Alright, so I think we have 2 more training sessions that we can use, so we may as well just go and do that. Also, we can use R, it sounds like, and just go straight there.
Training can be the difference between victory and defeat.
I'm going to change out Dimitri for Ingrid. Continue successive training until a unit masters a class or you run out of training points. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I was wondering what that was.
We make a good pair.
Yes, this makes sense.
Learned fire. Very cool.
Hey, I'm stronger.
And Annie learned heal.
I've grasped new
Okay,
strength.
backbone, night kneeler.
Time to work you into shape.
All right, Mercy, you're going to go down the priest path.
Do you think it's a fit?
Annie's going to become a mage.
I can work with...
Okay, and Ingrid is going to become our first Pegasus Knight. Looking good, girl. Ingrid in our original playthrough was
Will this
a
help me grow
beast by
stronger?
the end of the game in her Pegasus classes. She was doing real good. She was doing real good. Alright, we should probably try and work on Ash a little bit. Maybe Ash and Felix, or Ash and Annie. I'm trying to think of people who will use bows. Ingrid might end up using bows in one of her later Pegasus Knights. I can't remember. Do some of the later Pegasus Knights allow bows? I don't remember, but we'll have to see. Can you do multiples? Like if we used Annie. Yeah, she does get taken from this one. Okay. So you can't have them in multiple trainings.
Looks like we're partners today. Go easy on me, okay?
I will do no such thing. You'd best not hold back either.
Those two belong to each other.
We all have much to learn from each other.
This will help everyone out.
Okay, tracking shot.
Training can be the difference between victory and defeat.
We didn't use 7 intermediate seals. Do they cost more than 1? Let's see if we can buy one. I don't remember if the shop had an intermediate seal or not, but if so, I want to get him to Archer. And I think that will mean that everybody has gotten to their next class. Rodrigue comes in as a Cavalier, so yeah. I just want everybody out of their base classes. So let's go and see if we can do that.
Can't wait to see how you do.
I carry a little of everything here. You've got an eye for quality, friend.
Cool.
Hope to see you again soon.
Training can be the difference between victory and defeat.
Will this make me stronger?
And there we go.
With proper training,
Okay.
you'll be unstoppable.
Very cool. All right, so this is where we're going to end this episode. So thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the next episode, I believe we're going to be getting into a fight. So I'll see y'all there. Have a good one. I'd like to give a very special shout out to my patron supporters, Darren York, ZTD, 7th Son, Ivan K, Len, HLLJ, Knife Namaste, Caleb Adkins, and Jordan and Emily Hill. If you would also like to join this tier or any others, check out my memberships or my Patreon in the description down below.